This is the way.
Two marker.
What is going on, everybody? What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan 680, and this is the way, guys. This is it. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right to it. Hopefully, everyone is excited. Hopefully, everyone's having a great Wednesday, guys. Happy Mando Day. That's why we're wearing it. Happy Mando Day. What's going on, everybody? How's everyone feeling? How's everyone doing today? Lex, how you doing over there?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I had to break character.
I
Uh,
know, right?
I take my glasses off and my headset off, so I can't see or hear. So uh, I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, guys. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to go to the we're really gonna have to go to the mines of Mando now. Since we both
Yeah,
took off our helmets, the Creed. Yeah, you're
yeah.
gonna have
I
to.
broke. Yeah, I just broke the creed. You're still good.
Yeah, I think I'm still good. I'm still good. All right, guys. All right. Okay. So if you have whatever platform you're listening to us on, where you're listening to us on a podcast platform, we actually just got done taking off our Mando helmets, which we to pay respect
We
towards
had
it.
to throw it in here. I mean, we spent
Yeah,
money on this, and I haven't been able to wear it since.
I
I
know,
think I
right?
wore it on Halloween for a little bit during
Oh,
work.
nice.
Yeah. But
Nice. How was
I
that?
gotta use it. I gotta use it three more times for it to pay itself back.
Exactly.
Uh,
There you go,
no, it was
man.
cool. People really liked it. They said it looks real, and I mean I hope so because it does have the nice like metallic finish. As you can see
Yeah.
the screen and everything. But yeah, dude, I love wearing this thing. It's really cool. Um, it's other than that, it sits right there on my shelf. You can see Grogu's right there.
Yeah.
Um, I need to clean that up, but there's a lot of cool shit back there.
Oh, nice, nice. No, yeah. So, happy Mando Day, everybody! Once again, guys, thank you so much. And if you have not already, whether you're listening to us on our podcast platform, or you're listening to us on our YouTube channel, guys, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. And be sure to like, share, subscribe. And if you listen to us to our podcast platform, be sure to leave a review, give us a thumbs up, give a 5-star rating on our Apple Podcast. But let's get right to it, guys. This is our review of Mando season 3, episode 1. Man, can you believe it? It's been 2 years. 2 years. When someone told me this, I was very, very surprised. I'm not gonna lie, I really was. I was like,
It's like
has it really been 2 years? Like
yeah.
it made me question, right? It makes you question everything, guys. We're not talking about spoilers yet. We will mention when we're talking about spoilers, guys. So we will mention that. But it astonishes me how long it's been since we've seen the adventures of the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian adventures here, doing on his quest and everything, knowing that he's fulfilled his quest. It's definitely a different take that we've seen from different kind of feel of this episode here. But let's get right to it, Lex. I mean, what did you think? What was your first initial reaction? What word would you use to describe episode 1, season 3 of this, man? What do you think of this episode?
Yeah, so this episode was a lot of fun. Just kind of getting us back into the adventures of Mandalorian, the quest that he has that picks up from initially I had a similar thought to you. I started to wonder like how long
Yeah.
has this been since the last season came out. I was trying to remember how the last season ended. But it all came back to me very quickly. But also, I think one of the big things that kind of threw me for a loop a little bit is remembering that Mandalorian had like a mini arc within the Book of Boba. So though we haven't seen him in his own show in like 2 years, I believe it's been a year since we saw him in Book of Boba Fett. So um this picks up after the events of the Book of Boba Fett, which once again transitions into this journey. And I think this episode did a good job at immersing us back into the world, seeing where he's at as a character. He's I'm not talking about spoilers, but he's essentially needing to find redemption because of the events that happened before, and
Yeah.
we see him and Grogu, and I think the episode tried not to overwhelm us. It was more about easing us in, letting us know where characters are at this individual point of time, and then I figure that things are going to start picking up shortly after.
Yeah, man. I mean, so my initial reaction to this episode here, I agree with you on those certain points, but to me, I just, you know, in the past two seasons, right? I mean, in the past two seasons, guys, for this movie. I mean, whether it's subjective or not, right? Because films are subjective, TV shows are subjective. To each his own here when it comes down to what you thought of the of series, season, episode one, of all this, of all of them. Usually in the past two seasons, they knock it out of the park on the first episode. They really have. I mean, season one, well, of course, we saw the Grogu at the very end. I don't know how they kept that hidden. It was just one of those things to where it was just such a spoiler alert to
Yeah.
where it was just very hidden there when we first saw Baby Yoda. Everyone started calling him Baby Yoda. It really knocked out the park. It really did. I'm not gonna lie, it really knocked it out of the park here. I was amazed at how well that episode one was done. Season two, episode one as well. It was very well thought out. It really was. I kind of felt like it felt like a plan and everything. Call me crazy, man. For myself, for my take of this episode one, it felt like this was more of an episode 4 or 5 to me, if that makes any sense. It didn't feel like an opener. I mean, we got a little obviously where like, okay, where Mando's at, where exactly where he's been, not necessarily where he's been at, but just like where the story continues off of. And we did confirm, John Favreau did confirm, Dave Filoni did confirm earlier this week, or if it wasn't last week, if I'm mistaken, that in the book of Boba Fett, when Luke takes Grogu, they've been training for 2 years. Can you believe that? For 2 years, they've been officially training. And then when we see them in Book of Boba, it's 2 years after. They don't explain it. But in an interview, John Favreau and Dave Filoni said, it's been 2 years. I know we don't say
So
it.
so Book of Boba Fett was already 2 years after.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. After the training, and then that's when Luke gave him the choice. Hey, do you want to choose the little,
Yeah.
little cute little suit, or the cute little suit, and or go back with Mando, and search your feelings and everything. And it was definitely attachments, right? Because that's not the Jedi way. The Jedi way is no attachments.
Yeah.
It's a huge sacrifice. We saw that a lot in Obi-Wan as well. I mean, we got a little bit more character depth in Clone Wars with Obi-Wan. Spoiler, if you haven't seen Clone Wars, guys, be sure to check out Clone Wars, because Obi-Wan had to sacrifice his love because he was falling in love with the Queen of Mandalore, the Queen of
Yeah.
Mandalorian. Yeah. And so it's a sacrifice. It really is. But at the same time, you kind of understand where they're coming from. It's more grounded, I would say, as far as character development, when it comes down to more of the Jedi essence of not just the Clone Wars. Not Obi-Wan wasn't always by the book,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So I love that. I love that when series really do that. And with this series, it's really reached the point of that. We get to see a different kind of take on the whole Mandalore. I mean, who would have thought Mandalore series, right? I mean, yeah, it's crazy here. It really is. But this episode, it felt more like an episode 4 or 5 to me, more like a middle of the season kind of feel. It felt like it was really hitting it with a big bang. But I mean, without spoiling it, because we're going to spoil it later in this episode, guys. Not yet. But I mean, I just felt like it didn't hit all the bangers here. I was happy though. I'm not gonna lie. I was happy, content, but it wasn't one of those knockout bangers that they've been known to
Yeah.
do, right? I mean, call me
No,
crazy. What do you think, Lex?
I I agree. So it was I don't want to call it like a less eventful episode, but I agree. I don't recall exactly how season two started, but yeah, the
Yeah,
season one, of course, like set the tone for a lot of things, and then, like you said, it had an ending like no other with
yeah,
the reveal of Grogu, right? Like even just seeing a species of Yoda, it like left people with a lot of questions. This
of
episode
course.
doesn't leave us with anything other than like, okay, this is what they're doing next type of thing.
Mhm.
So I 100% get your feeling. Um, the reason I'm like not ready to like count it off as a bad starter is because in the past I've also pointed this out,
Mhm.
um specifically around episode 1. I think like I had talked about how, I'm sorry, season 1, I had
Mhm.
talked about how in other seasons it takes a little while for it to get going. Like each episode feels very
Yeah.
like one, like a side quest type of thing is going on, and then it picks up and everything's great, everything kind of pieces together. But I'm hoping that with this season they're kind of trying something different, where perhaps this first episode was just once again just reintroducing you, easing you in, but then
Yeah.
I'm hoping that there's no slow burn afterwards, right? So like you
Mhm.
said, this feels to you like a middle of the season, but I'm hoping that for this season we recognize that even at the middle point there's no room to breathe. Everything is actually ramping up.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what's going on. By no means is it a bad episode. I think we both agree with that.
Yeah, of
But
course.
once again, we can acknowledge that, yeah, there was no big twist. We've yet to find out what the threat is for this season.
Yeah.
I saw very little trailers for this. I actually thought Bo-Katan would have a role there, right? But we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know yet. We haven't seen everything fully yet, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with waiting. The length of the episodes is still, I think,
It's
something
it's
that
it
we're
it's kind
fighting.
of pet peeve there. It really is because we're so used to the Pedro Pascal of an hour with The Last of Us.
Yeah,
We're so used to it. We isn't it funny how we get used to things? We get a little bit spoiled here,
yeah,
as audience goers and movie goers. We get a little bit spoiled because it's like every movie has to have an end credit scene because you watch a Marvel film. No, that's not the case. It just feels that whole like essence of like we deserve this episode deserves. It hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts. It's only 37 minutes, 38 minutes of
yeah. I
counting
think it's like
credits.
36.
Counting the credits. That's
Yeah,
counting credits. So it's probably less than that, right? The whole episode. But I mean, am I mad? Not really. It doesn't. Am I like, oh, okay, it sucks, but doesn't ruin it for me? In my take here, I mean, it really didn't. I felt like
yeah,
there's a reason for this. You know why?
for sure.
You know why?
Why?
My theory is the last two episodes are 2 hours long each. The last two. I'm just kidding.
Ah, I don't know. I wouldn't bet
It's.
on that.
I know it's gonna make it up. It's gonna make it
But
up. An
once
hour
again,
and a half
I'm
each.
I'm really do feeling that
Yeah.
it's gonna ramp up quicker than it's taken other episodes to ramp up. That's just my
Yeah.
theory, because I feel like this season is probably gonna focus on things that have been bottling or bubbling up from
Hmm.
previous episodes, right? Like the conflicts, the setup,
Yeah.
the quest for Mandalore and stuff. So I I hope that's the case, and I'm sure there's going to be some exciting twist along the way.
Yeah. Most definitely, man. It really touches up on all this where we hear that music, we know the tone, we know what's coming out of it, we know what to expect. We know to expect this film to be or this series to really feel like a more grounded character. Even so forth with Grogu. Even with Grogu, we got grounded in last season here, and once that music clicks, though, you just like, oh man, something's about to happen. I love how this episode started. But before we get into spoilers, guys, we want to put an alert. Spoiler alerts. Spoiler alert. We're gonna show a little clips here. A little, if you have not seen or heard of the Mando season 3, episode 1. If you have not watched it, be sure to check out our other podcast platforms, other other YouTube videos. But let's get right to it. Lex, let's talk about this opening scene here. So, fair warning, you have been warned, moviegoers out there and series goers out there. Let's get right to it. We're going to show off this scene real quick. We open up with this inauguration, if you will.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, of the creed here, and we let's confirm this, guys. We're gonna confirm this right here. And because I had this, I always have debates on off camera with with moviegoers, with Star Wars fans. So, the Mando is part of the Death Watch. That's what his philosophy is. It's the Death Watch. Bo-Katan mentioned it last season. She mentioned it even the Mando mentioned it. They mentioned it even in this episode. They're part of the Death Watch. And if you do not know Death Watch, it goes back to the Clone War days. It goes back to the Old Republic days. It goes back to where the Creed, that was the Creed who really, to self-explanatory, they really wanted to liberate Mandalore to be this self-righteous, violent, aggressive planet system, if you will. And it was more of an essence to where they wanted to not rely on the Republic and not really have anything to do with other governments, right? Because that's what they wanted to do in this series and in that series in Clone Wars. So knowing where that background comes from and everything, we get to see more of like where this Creed history comes from a little bit. We get to see how the inauguration happens because actually we've never seen that ever. That was something new. I thought that was really good by Dave Filoni to put up on there and
Yeah,
everything. That
for a
was
moment I
yeah,
even thought it was a flashback because I was like,
yeah,
I'm not sure if they do this still. Like, are they getting
yeah,
new recruits? Or and also
yeah.
there was a lot more Mandalorian there that I'm trying to refresh, but I thought that they were pronounced dead from the last season.
Mhm.
Like saying that they either that like those that remain went into hiding,
Yeah,
and there was a few left. But I mean, once again, there was a good bunch here that I
yeah.
thought this was a flashback for a moment, and then of course once you see the ship come in, then I knew it wasn't. But yeah, I wonder what the state of I'm sure we're gonna find out because honestly, I mean, the trailers have shown like obviously there's still Mandalorian out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder what the state of it is. Are they like upcoming again? Are they thriving? And yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel like they're kind of in the middle. They're not really thriving yet. I kind of feel like they're because we get to see exactly where what they're doing. They're in the little organization, and then they get attacked by this creature here, and
Yeah,
it's crazy. So, what did you think about this fight scene? I thought this fight scene was pretty good. I thought it was not
yeah.
bad. It was all right. It was pretty good for what it was. It was just kind of different to where how the armor wasn't getting penetrated or how they were weapons were like almost useless in a way, right? It kind of felt like
Yeah,
that a little bit, like it wasn't really phasing uh the gator, I guess, or I guess if you
yeah.
want to
I
call it
think
that.
so, but
Yeah,
I'm not thinking. I'm seeing that as a I mean, it serves the story, right? Like, because Mando
yeah,
came in and helped them out. He has more firepower with his ship and stuff. But I mean, I feel like that's more natural, right? Like, it's a big
yeah,
creature. Gators have pretty tough skin as well, if that's what this animal creature is based off of. Um, but also just showing that once again he has a willingness to be accepted again, and is willing to help them out with what they need, and that later started the conversation about what he can do to be redeemed. But honestly, the effects on this were pretty solid as well.
yeah,
From what I recall in the previous seasons, like the effects have always been great. There's been very few exceptions, to be honest. Um, but normally like a big creature battle like this, you find it a little bit later into the season, because like if you recall, I think in the last season there was like that big rhinoceros that
yeah,
Grogu stops, or I don't know if that was the first season. I should have probably rewatched the whole thing again. But then of course there's like the worm, the worm in the sand as well
yeah,
from the desert area in season 2. um maybe I am getting the seasons confused. But anyways, what I'm talking about is like those scenes usually take place later. So I'm hoping that there's
mhm.
an indicator of, once again, like if the budget grows and the scale of it grows, and we'll talk a little bit later, like even just a space pursuit as well, that I was very impressed with the vision
Yeah,
behind it and the direct.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. I enjoyed uh that whole space battle and everything. But sticking to this, so it kind of was like, okay, are the Mandalorians useless or what is going on here? And it's definitely where they were not thriving as much as they want. It's like almost like, oh, they need Mando. They need him with that
Yeah.
ship.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
they need the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I think it's like, yeah, they're good for like foot battle, but when there's this like large creature, I don't think they were expecting it. But uh yeah, like you said, probably the numbers aren't all there just yet. But I mean, I recall even Mando like himself struggling against the worm from the desert stuff. So I just figured like either way there has to be like strategy to kind of taking out a creature like this. So I'm not necessarily seeing it as like they just couldn't handle it, but uh, for
Shoot.
the plot, I think it's just once
Yeah.
again it opened the door for Mando to kind of do them a solid.
Yeah, I mean, he even had struggle handling this too. By the way, he even had a
I
hard
know.
time
I am
struggling
surprised we didn't see that
with the
in this episode.
yeah, yeah. With the dark saber, he had so much of a hard time doing this. But hang on. Oh yeah, he just
Nice.
yeah. It's definitely one of those. It's definitely one of. Oops, sorry. It's definitely one of those things to where I really thought he was gonna bring it out and stab it or something. But at the same,
Oh, like
but
get
it
off
made
my ship.
it made sense though. This is the logic that I always talk about when it comes to Star Wars. The Book of Mando, I like to call it because it's not Book of Boba Fett, it's Book of Mando. Uh, it really it didn't make that sense to where that logic wasn't there. You know, why didn't you get your ship instead of you got the creature? It didn't. A lot of stuff did not make sense to me. And when you it just shows right here, this perfect episode right here is that the opening shows that if he would have gotten the dark saber, I don't think he would have been able to kill the creature. But knowing that he got his ship and everything, he knowing how smart Pedro Pascal's character is, it made sense. The logic was there. He knows what the dark saber is capable of. He knows it's a struggle for him to even handle it, and he knows it thrives the creed. It thrives them.
Yeah.
They have to follow him and everything. But uh, after this, we actually get to see Grogu and him get down, and he's actually talking and trying to really kind of redeem himself because he's in exile now because he took off his helmet.
Yeah.
Who else was like, oh, that's so cute. Grogu was looking around. I mean, what did you think of that, Lex? I really thought the
Yeah.
animatronics, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is that the doll and everything. It's done very well, man. I mean, what did you
Yeah.
think of that?
Yeah, no, it definitely. I mean, we're used to it at this point, but like,
Yeah,
you can tell, like our human eye can tell that away from like a straight up CGI.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, CGI has gotten very, very good, but Star Wars at its core, right? Like using
yeah,
practical effects and
exactly.
puppets and all that stuff. I think you can tell the level of detail and mannerisms that they've put together in this animatronic that feels so tangible in the show.
Yeah.
And I love that about Grogu. I think there was a scene in the episode, I think was during the space fight, where you can see light reflect his eye, but you in the eye you see texture kind of like um there's always like a membrane or a coat
Mm-hmm.
that surrounds our eyes. Like there's a scene where you could see that reflect in the light,
Mm-hmm.
and once again, it felt like, I know it's creepy because it's an eye, but like it felt like you can touch it and feel it. Which once again, on a straight up just like CGI creature, you wouldn't get those details that kind of trick your brain into thinking like this is a real thing.
Yeah.
So as always, they do a great job with this.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there, man. I mean, the CGI was done, or like the whole special effects team, the whole it's done very well. It's very hard to how you say, and they go into they pay attention to detail. I guess that's the good thing is about you get real hard, passionate creators here. They really pay attention to detail.
Yeah.
Even so, even when the helmet. I know skipping to the end, but even when he sees Bo-Katan at the very end, and it's all windy, the helmet itself is so if you have a clear HD TV, right, you'll be able to see the water on the helmet. It's just
Yeah.
so pay attention to detail, right? Uh, and so I thought that was pretty good there. So we're gonna go ahead and skip a little bit ahead, and we actually get to see him. Furthermore, with Carl Weathers' character, he actually hangs out and here goes back to the same time. I really thought that it was gonna be a little bit different. I didn't think he was gonna see him so soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't with I forgot his name. What's his character's name? Griff.
No. Oh yeah. No, it
Yeah,
is Griff.
yeah, it is Griff, right? Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
I
But I
really
know
didn't.
he goes as the High Magistrate
Oh,
or
the
something
high
like that.
magic. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me. The high magic. And did you notice a little? They'll pay attention to detail. Did you actually notice that he actually has two little robots holding his cape?
Yeah, I
And
saw
then
that.
you saw
Yeah,
that?
Eileen pointed it out, and
Damn. I'm
thought that was
like,
cool.
damn, brother. Damn, man. Killing it. Killing it. King. Nah, I'm just kidding. Bend the
Yeah,
knee.
pretty
How's
much, dude.
bend the knee? Mando, bend the knee. I'm just
He's
kidding. But
running shit.
yeah, yeah.
And
There you
now, I
go,
mean, El
man.
Camino, like, is not El Camino. I'm sorry. I forgot the name of this post, but it looks like it's thriving, right? And it's peaceful. It looks like it's in a much better spot after, once again, all the work that Mando um,
Yeah.
and Griff has like put into liberating this post and
Yeah.
making it, like he talks about, wanting it to be independent and not necessarily tie itself
Rely.
into
Yeah.
the New Republic and stuff. So
Yeah, because
uh,
we all know what that happens, right? I mean, it's not
yeah,
like another Sith Lord's gonna come
it's
about and
just
destroy everything all over again, you know?
yeah. Well, the New Republic is led by the good guys per se, but
Yeah,
either
by
way, like
Leia. It's essentially by Leia, by
yeah.
all Han,
But
I
either
don't
way,
yeah,
they want to act independently from that. They don't want to owe anything to anyone, which
exactly.
I appreciate. And once again, this episode dedicating to just kind of letting us know where these characters are at. And I think this also, sorry, I'm going off camera, but I think this also served in a way to, offer Mando that opportunity, right? Like letting him know, like, hey, you have a place here, you're accepted here. I know you're being rejected by the
I
Mandalore.
I need a new
Um,
marshal. That's what he said. He even
yeah,
offered him a
like
piece of land. That was really cool. I was all
yeah,
like,
like
damn, he could settle. I
yeah,
said,
like
damn.
exactly.
Yeah.
Those were his words. Like you can
Yeah.
settle, you and Grogu can settle here. You have a place, you have a role, like a thing to do that's noble and whatnot. So I think that serves as also us understanding where our main character is, where yeah, this all sounds nice and sweet, and obviously as an audience member we probably are thinking like, oh, he should take it type of thing,
Yeah.
but he has a bigger mission, a bigger um once again self no sense of belonging with his people. I personally, like, I think this is what the season's going to be about, like, but I
Yeah.
personally think that I don't know if he's making the right choice. And I don't know if it's building stuff up so that he comes to that realization, right? Or that
Yeah.
in the process he loses out on these opportunities because of his devotion to this. So I
Mhm.
wonder if that's the story that is going to take us on, or if it'll end up being like just a natural hero's journey of him achieving that, right? Like achieving
Yeah.
redemption, achieving what he wanted. But I don't know. As an audience member, initially, I just think that the devotion is taking him down a path where he's making a lot of sacrifices that maybe he doesn't have to. So I'm interested to see, once again, if that's going to be the revolving theme around this season.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's one of those things to where it kind of puts him at a strain because he wants to be faithful to the creed. He wants to be faithful to his, essentially to his people, and I love that for him. I really do. But at the same time, it's like, what more do I have to prove? Like it kind of puts him in a bind here. And I like that we get to see that though. I like we get to see a little bit more scale to where their beliefs are, because we
Yeah.
really touched up the whole focus of Clone Wars wasn't essentially that. We did touch up a lot on their Death Watch of what they believed in, but it wasn't to the extent that we're getting here,
Yeah.
right? And then right after this, guys, that we actually had a little bit of misfire here. So this bar that used to be there is now a school, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was really cool by Carl Weathers' character to really come in and really, like you said already, we talked about it already, to change up the place, to change up more than just a bar, to give education back to the people, to give, just a history, just so that way, it progresses this system, this place. And I love that. I really do. I love how he's progressed in that. And so we get a little bit of a standoff here with pirates, and he's like, "Well, get me a drink." And then it was like a Mexican standoff, and it was a duel, and I was just like, boom. It was really cool seeing Mando just take out a few people. Again, we go back to where I think it was too soon. Now that I think about it more and more, so they're gonna build up when he brings out the dark saber. They're gonna build it up again because they're like, he's using his blaster now. I kind of feel like he's gonna build
Well,
it up.
I
Huh?
think he's also still struggling with carrying it,
Yeah,
no?
yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I think they're gonna build up to it. I think
Oh, like
essentially,
where he
yeah, they're
can
using
master it?
that. Yeah, so they're using that not
Oh,
as an excuse, but they're using that into the story
yeah,
plot
yeah,
to
I
where
think so
like,
too.
oh, it's gonna really like it's gonna shine. It's gonna show the music whenever he has it up and holding it and be able to master it. I kind of feel like we're
Yeah.
gonna see that a little bit. We're gonna see him doing the raid thing, and then boom.
Yeah.
knock out a stupid stone and just oh god, yeah, that's just oh god. Don't even get me started with that scene. I do not like that scene. Oh man. But anyways, going back to this, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this little of a little bit of a tension here between the pirates and everything. And then let's talk about that whole space standoff, man. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that space standoff. I was very surprised how well lit that was. Oh, before we go any further, sorry. So during when they're going to hyperdrive, when they're doing the
Oh
hyper,
yeah.
yeah, did you notice that?
Yeah. I
Okay,
forget what those are, but
yeah.
I feel like
So those are actually whales. In Rebels. That's why I love Dave Filoni. In Rebels, Ezra encountered these whales, and these whales are actually they eat. They eat this. Pretty much eat. They eat certain things. Not metachlorians in space, but they eat more so of the hyperdrive. That like think of it as like the exhaust of the hyperdrive, and they
yeah,
eat
yeah, yeah,
that.
they eat
They
that.
eat. Yeah, they eat or like they're attracted to that. Like they like it's almost like that fish where it eats all the crap.
Yeah.
Where like supposed to clean your fish tank, almost like that. So it kind of is. So what they do, they kind of keep space kind of clean, not really,
Yeah.
but I love that. I love that. And Grogu's just staring at him. He's
Yeah.
like, "What is that? What?" Well, he's anxious. He's curious, and I love that. I love how grounded, how well put that is. Like it
Yeah, it
comes
was a
down to
nice
where,
little detail.
yeah,
I didn't know about I knew I had seen something around that. Once again,
yeah.
I haven't seen Rebels, I haven't seen Clone Wars, but
I know,
I
man. You
figured
haven't even seen
it
it.
had to do something with that. If n- I mean, because clearly they're traveling at hyperspeed too, right? Like those
Yeah,
creatures. But I also thought maybe they're like some sort of like force driven creature that maybe only Grogu could see, but I now see that once again it just seems to be something that you can encounter. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that was really cool. I wonder if it's gonna play into later in the story.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm actually kind of curious about that too. Maybe they'll actually might help them at the end, or maybe during a tight situation here. I hope they do because they're essentially called space whales. That's what Ezra calls them in the series,
Yeah,
and so that's what they're just called. And I enjoyed seeing that connection, seeing that like they
yeah.
belong, and
Hey,
then
sorry, my cat is
no,
being
no, you're good. And
yeah.
just like what
My
do you call it? And just like whales, they have babies and all that stuff, and they really they follow their babies, almost like the way of water, almost
yeah,
like the whales. You know how they have the baby there,
yeah, yeah,
something like that. It's of that essence here, and we get to see, and only certain people get to see them really progress here, and I love that. I love Grogu got to see him because he's very force driven, force connected.
hmm
And so I think that's what kind of draw him out a little bit, or more so. We never
yeah,
know. But hopefully we see him again. But going to that space battle, we saw Star Wars Swamp Thing version here, man. That was crazy
yeah.
looking.
That's the
Dude,
same
what
thing.
is up?
That's
Yeah.
the same thing I thought. I thought it looks like
Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah. I was like, what the heck? Disney came out with their own Swamp Thing now? Or what the heck's going
Yeah,
on here? Here's a spin-off now.
they're gonna recruit him for the DCU.
Yeah, James Gunn's gonna call them up. You're coming to DC now. Yeah, man,
Remember,
that was definitely different, man. That was definitely different. What did you think of that whole setup there? I thought that was pretty good costume.
he looks cool. Like it's
Yeah,
unlike anything we've seen before, right? Like in
yeah,
Star
yeah.
Wars, like you always get to see some of the like creatures or races that you've seen
Mhm.
before. Every now and then you see something new, and I like that. I don't recall ever seeing this character's species in Star Wars, so
No,
that's
no,
kind of
definitely not.
cool. It's like immediately the level of attention to his character design, I
Mhm.
think like he's gonna play a role for sure. Like he's not just gonna be like a one episode type of character. But we'll get to see like where that leads. I think for
Yeah,
sure Mando is in their radar because of what he did. But yeah,
yeah.
that chase sequence was so well done. I like the direction behind it. Like the angles and kind of like building tension moments that they did, as well as like the cool maneuvering that he does with this ship, right? Like
Mhm.
he's able to hide behind one of those asteroids and just kind of like get back to them and hunt them down, piece them apart. um it was cool. Once again, it's like I know the episode didn't have too many crazy things happening, but it's things like this where it's like it's still quality, and it's like normally in previous seasons we wouldn't see like a chase like that until maybe a couple episodes in or things like that. So I'm really thinking that this is almost like just giving us a taste, letting us know that the budget is there, and letting
Yeah.
us know that things are gonna ramp up.
No, definitely, definitely. I have to agree with you there. I really am, and it surprised me because you would think this is already a big budget, but I feel like it went. You can tell the budget went further. Those
Yeah,
little extra $1 million do help,
yeah.
right? Now they didn't all go to Pedro Pascal's paycheck, guys. I can guarantee that. But and then of course after right before that scene, though, I do apologize for this, guys. We actually get to see. I thought this was really cool. IG, IG unit. This guy sacrificed himself back in season 1, and
I think it was season two.
oh, was it season 2? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he sacrificed himself, knowing the outcome of it, knowing, and I love that scene. I really do. I have to rewatch this all over again. I do apologize, but it was definitely a scene to where you cared about this droid so much.
yeah. He was a
Yeah.
standout. He voiced by Taika Waititi, uh, and you could even see the change of we saw this in season two, but the change
Yeah.
in Mando, right? Even referring to the droid as his friend, right? Like saying, "This is
Yeah.
my
At the
friend. I need
end.
him back.
Yeah. At the end.
I only trust this droid to help me with my mission." Once again, coming from a character that wanted nothing to do with droids, so I found that really cool. I um I don't know how I feel about like them bringing him back, just because once again he kind of already laid it down on the line and sacrifice. I don't know if he's gonna come back. I know there's like basically they need a part, which feels very video
Yeah.
gamey, right? Like
Did you notice that those creatures, they're actually from
yeah,
The Rise of the
Rise of
Skywalker?
Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think
Which
at the
I hate
time
that
they
movie,
had.
but yeah.
I don't think at the time they had told us what their race was, so it
No,
was
no,
good to
no.
see that here. Um, yeah, I don't know if they're really gonna bring him back. I think they will. I'd be. I'm not gonna be mad if they do, but once again,
They
it's
are.
just
They're
like
gonna bring him back. Yeah.
it feels a little cop outish, but I get it.
You
Um,
hey, Disney gotta sell that merch, dude. Next thing you know, we're gonna be little IG unit toys, man. They gotta sell the merch. Disney, yeah, they gotta sell that merch, man. That's the deal. Because when you think about it, if you make this into a kid's toy, it's gonna sell. Like it
they
just
could have
it was
already
a
made it into a toy
no.
though.
I'm pretty sure they did, but you know what? They're gonna make it even again because here's season 3 version now. How many versions are we getting the Mando? I mean, come on. I mean, I'm pretty sure they make a refreshed look every season. Uh, even so with the pop figures, they have so many different angles of him,
Yeah,
with him and Grogu, with him by himself, with him with the shiny helmet, with him with the exclusive. They make up all these things, and it's gonna sell. It really
yeah.
is. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna sell. Uh, but I really wasn't. I'm not mad at this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not mad if they bring back IG. I enjoyed his character. I did.
Yeah, no,
I
for sure.
enjoyed
Once
it.
again,
I'm not mad.
that's why
Yeah,
like I won't be mad, but once again, it just
feels like a
they
cop out.
have a
Feels like
like they have a statue of him already, and they took him part
yeah.
of the
I like
that
that.
just
I like that.
yeah,
I like the statue. I really enjoy it. I want to see him back though because between his dynamic with Mando, I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed him and Mando's
yeah. I wonder if
dynamic a
Taika
lot. Yeah.
Waititi's gonna come back for it, or if it's gonna be someone else.
I hope to God it's Saika Wati. I really hope so. It better
Yeah,
be. It better be. That's all I'm saying. And then we go to the very last episode, guys, where we see Bo Katan at the throne. She is at the throne,
yeah, that was a
looking.
cool shot.
Yeah, man. What did you think of that last scene? Knowing where her drive was given, knowing that her drive.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's tension
it
here.
was so there's tension for sure. I like that, but
Yeah,
it was kind of like um it was kind of like a bummer that like once again the shot is cool. She has a commanding presence still, but basically she just told Mando like, "Oh yeah, everyone left me," type of thing.
yeah,
Um, which once again, I'm just saying tonally, like it was kind of like a little bit of a curveball because you see her commanding, you see her at the throne, you think that she
Mhm.
still has a grasp, but and maybe that's the point. The point is to have that contrast. Uh, but yeah, part of her character felt like defeated because she just told Mando, right? Like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
you should go to them, show them the saber, and they'll follow you. Her character is showing both like resentment, but also kind of defeat. And I'm not saying that's bad, right? Like I really
Yeah.
do think that's what
No,
they were going
she
for
is defeated. She's given up
for sure.
because that's the thing though that people do not understand. They do explain it a lot in this last season as well. Was that, and it's a lot explained more furthermore in the Clone Wars series,
Yeah,
is that if you do not wield the dark saber, if you do not wield
yeah,
this bad boy, you cannot lead Mandalore.
yeah,
It's in the Old Republic. The Old Republic was getting overwhelmed by Jedi and Sith. Sith were everywhere, killing people, killing their own people, and they went ahead and made this bad boy because of
yeah.
that. It's definitely one of those things to where it's her people, and she
I
can't
just
lead them
feel like
without it.
all these rules are like wild. Like they're very.
So okay, again, we go back to where you need to watch Clone Wars, Lex, because it's a lot of rules. So she's
I
like,
know, but I
think of
don't
it.
think.
Think of it as like the Queen of England. Like you have the royal because she's royalty, the queen that
Yeah,
Obi-Wan fell in love with. It's royalty, but she has a prime minister. It's just like their
yeah,
government. It's just like it's exactly like it. And they have a prime minister that represents the people. And it goes on and on into the politics of which I do love. I do love that. I love the politics. If anything, Disney, if you are listening, if anything, put more politics in the Star Wars movies. I love them. I love it. It makes sense. I love the Star Wars politics because it shows us to where everyone stands, and I love it because we get to see what happens at the very end, right? Well, who stands for what? Who really supported the Galactic Empire? It comes down to where Bo-Katan will not. She's stuck right now, but I
yeah.
kind of feel like do you think she's gonna challenge Mando, or at least go against him, like betray
Yeah,
him?
that's what I thought. That's what I
That's
thought
what I'm
this
thinking,
was gonna
right?
be about.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too.
She
I
might still
really,
come around, right? Like, yeah,
yeah,
I don't think we're done seeing her, but like
yeah,
not in the slightest. Uh, but yeah, it was interesting seeing her character in that. Once again, it's
yeah,
exactly what they want for her character right now.
yeah,
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 maybe we'll eat her up and
yeah.
find the opportunity to challenge at the right time. Maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely gonna be one of those things to where it's gonna be tension. Definitely gonna be tension there. It's definitely gonna show us to where Mando is, where he's gonna be at. How is he gonna take it? Because I'm kind of curious when she might betray him. Right?
Yeah, I
I mean, is she
once
gonna
again, I
betray
think she's
him?
gonna be finding the right opportunity. I don't think she'll sneak behind them type of stuff.
No, 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 no. It can't be like that. No, no. So it's
Yeah,
actually gonna be. I really cold heartedly believe it's gonna be on Mandor, the planet, the Mandalore. It's gonna be
yeah,
there.
because now she
Yeah,
knows like what he's trying to do, right?
and it's gonna be in front of everybody. It's gonna be a challenge in front of everybody because everyone has to see it. Everyone has to see her taking the rightful heir into the throne. I'll say that. But yeah, everyone wants to be. Hey, all I'm saying, man, that Star Wars is coming up with some Game of Thrones stuff right here. This is some Game of Thrones stuff. Yeah, I'm just saying, Bo-Katan looking all what do you call it? Like the queen, yeah, like Queen Daenerys Targaryen. There, she's looking like her a little bit. Very vicious. I love it though. I really do. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I love it, guys. But yeah, all right. What out of 10? 10 being the highest. Like, when you give this episode rating right before we
Um.
take off.
I think this was a solid 8. I think I give it an
Oh
8.
wow,
Yeah.
damn! I'm gonna give it a 5.
God damn,
Hey,
dude.
what's wrong? It's average. That's average. A
5 is
5.
not average.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. A 5 out of 10, dude.
That's middle ground, but like
Yeah, middle ground. Yeah, I was
I
middle
don't think
ground.
you gave any episode last season a 5. So how is that average?
Okay, all right, fine.
No, I
Okay,
mean, don't let me shame you. I'm
yeah,
just saying,
man,
like,
you're
think
shaming me. You're making me
about
feel
it.
bad. Hey, a 5. I'm feeling a 5. And I'll be honest here.
Oh,
That's
there you
probably
go. Disney's gonna come.
one of my lowest ratings out of all the episodes.
You
Probably
can't
my
go to
low.
Disney World anymore.
Hey, speaking of that, moviegoers out there, Disney fans out there, if you have not already, I've been seeing it all over the post, all over Walt Disney World's page, and we missed it, Lex. Mando is there with Grogu. He's there.
I
Started
that
today.
wasn't I. Oh, starting to son of a.
Yeah, I know. That means we got to go back. That means
That's.
we got to go
I
back.
mean, to be fair, when we went, it was at night. He probably wasn't gonna be there anyways.
No, they had their Disney after night. He was gonna be there walking around
Oh,
at night. True, true.
that's a bummer. I just
It's
want
all
to see.
good.
I just want to see Grogu because like
Yeah.
they
How he
have
looks.
the animatronic and like
Yeah.
he's sitting on a pouch, but like I just want to see that in person and just freak the fuck out.
I'm actually kind of shocked they haven't really released a merch of that because they do have like a toy. It's a toy, right? But it's like
Yeah,
the Banshee where I have one and you create your own Banshee or you can pick the Banshee you want and then
yeah.
you can move it or whatever
If
and all
they
this
do that,
stuff.
it's gonna be so expensive.
I'm game. You already got something back there. I see him. You already got something back there.
The one? Or what are you
No, the Mando, Grogu.
Oh
You
yeah,
got
yeah.
Grogu. Yeah, you already got Grogu there. So I mean, shoot, what's
But that was
next?
$20, dude. $20.
Yeah, no, do 20 times. Yeah, do add another zero, and that's probably what it's gonna be. 200
Yeah.
bucks. But all right, guys, if you have not already, like, share, subscribe to us on Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. And if you listen to us on podcast platform, thank you so much once again, guys, for making us a part of your day. And any further thoughts, Lex? Further thoughts, comments, concerns?
No, I'm excited for the season.
Yeah, me too,
And
man.
I
I'm excited. I know everyone
think they're
says
the biggest ones yet.
if you don't know me, guys, already, if you do not know, if you do not listen to us on listen to me on the podcast platform, I'm a little bit more critique, I guess, if that makes any sense. That's putting it lightly. It's I just have it's just the way it made me feel. I was just like, okay, I still enjoyed it, but the thing that gets me going is always like the dark saber, of course, all that, all that whole graphics and seeing different connections to the movies or to the Rebel series and Clone Wars. I love that. I love how it's like, oh, it's connected. Like it just gets you going. I love that. But all right, guys, if you have not already, like, share, subscribe once again. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. A Clone Ryan 680.
And this was Lex. May the force be with you guys.
May the force be with y'all. Thank you so much, everybody out there. And yeah, this is the way. That's all I'm saying, guys. Have a good one. Check you later, guys. Stay safe, San Antonio. This is the way. This is the way.